Yo! Oh my days! Oh my days! Ladies and gentlemen, these housemates have been cracking me up since morning. They've been cracking me up so much, and see, yeah, it's quite interesting because Abby is doing a prank. Only on the other hand, she is executing her plans to sabotage the wager, and these two are actually doing it in the most creative ways, and it's so entertaining. It is so refreshing. I have laughed so hard this morning. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. I see. Once again, I want to give kudos to Big Brother on the theme of the week. Yeah, the theme of the week is creative chaos, and what better way for these housemates to really give us great chaos, other than in the most creative manners, right? Because that's exactly what you're doing. Creative chaos. And so Abby has started creating chaos in the most creative way, and Oyin as well is doing the same thing. Then there was Bells, and now it's like the whole house, they're all fired up and everybody wants to go crazy after their meetings. All right, so at the time of filming this video, the housemates were having their meetings, and if any madness happens afterwards, don't worry, I'm going to fill you all in on another video. But in the meantime, let's get into what Abby and Oyin did this morning that got the housemates riled up. All right, aside that, we're also going to look at a conversation that Sheba and Araga actually had yesterday. This was a conversation I was supposed to add to one of my videos, but somehow I forgot. So my sincere apologies about that. I will be sharing the details of that conversation on this video. All right, and yeah, basically let's just get right into it. Yeah, first off, some housemates had woken up this morning to discover that some of their cutleries were gone. And by cutleries, I mean all the spoons and all the forks were gone. Now, the only thing that is left for them to use are the knives, the table knives. And Araga was actually the first to discover it because, of course, his wife had woken up this morning sulking, still in a mood from last night. And so, as usual, as the dedicated lover that he is, he had run to the kitchen to go make her breakfast as usual, only for him to get to the kitchen after making the eggs and plantains. He was looking for cutleries and he couldn't find one. So the guy was already getting angry. You know, I told you in my previous video that this guy, they quick, they vex. In other words, he's very quick to anger. He's very quick to anger. Any little thing, Araga's blood is hot. The guy is seeking revenge. So he went to go and meet Gerard. Gerard was in the lounge and he's like, Gerard, where are all the spoons? Where are all the knives and the forks? What's happening? And Gerard said, that he doesn't know. That he asked them, what's her name? Abby. And Abby said maybe it's the ninjas that took them. Araga said, what kind of nonsense is that? Who did that? Who did that? So that's the way Araga speaks, like, who did that? Nah, this is not funny. This is not funny. So Abby was coming from the garden. That one, she has fire on her head. It's like they use those shuka and puts fire on her head like this. Say, Abby, this week that you're ahead of us, so just be carrying fire and be burning everybody. So she was already coming from the garden and she was already hot. Araga now, I thought they used to have a very, very wonderful friendship. Like, Abby, where are the cutleries? And the ninjas carried them. Araga said, the ninjas? Nah, it cannot be. Then he was now telling Gerard that he suspects that it is Abby's doing. Now, I made a mistake. When Araga had asked, what's his name, Gerard had said he had asked Abby, and Abby had said, she didn't know. Hey God, guys, my brain is skipping. I'm too excited. Abby had said that she did not know. But when Araga had asked, she had said it was the ninjas. So both of them, they were, scrutinizing the responses that she gave to both of them. And Araga said, nah, that it is Abby, that he suspects that she's the one. But then he was just so upset and he said, okay, fine, game on. Whoever took it, that in fact, if he discovers the person that took it today, all those cutleries, that today is not going to be funny, he was already upset. Then he stormed back to the kitchen. Now, then came Ricky. Ricky had his bath, had dressed up, looking regal in his Igbo cultured attire. and he went to go and make tea. There was no spoon to stir the tea, but a knife. Now, you know, when you make tea, normally you would use a spoon to, you know, just taste it if the sugar is enough, or if the milk is enough, or if the temperature is warm enough for your tongue. But there was no spoon to do any of that. So Ricky carried the tea to the dining. As he was sipping the tea, it was burning his tongue. He was like, what's happening in this house today? No spoon. Oh God. The whole situation was just so hilarious because whilst one person was eating, you know, and using the table knife, the rest of the house have not necessarily had breakfast yet. So I'm just imagining the drama that will unfold when they're all ready to eat, and then they discover that there are no cutleries. Because already Oyin and Flora, they're like, back to the basics, so they don't care. They're using their hands to eat rice and stew. These girls were literally devouring the rice and stew with their hands. And they were laughing at the whole house because for them, housemates are always laughing at them and teasing them that they call fork fake. So now that their fake is missing, she wants to see what they are going to use to eat. Everybody must use their hands to eat food. So the whole thing was just so funny, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm super excited about it because I cannot wait to see the chaos that will break out in the house. Now, for those of you who are wondering who carried the cutleries, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very strong suspicion. I highly suspect that Abby is the one behind that prank. Because if you had watched her Sunday diary session, she had said to Big Brother that she wanted to prank the house, that she wanted to hide some food supplies, you know, and then she will come to the kitchen and then she will be shouting about it so that everybody will get all involved and they'll be arguing and all whatnot. And then later on, maybe she's then going to bring out the food. And Big Brother had told her that if she survives the eviction on Sunday, then they should revisit the conversation. Now, I do not know if she has had that conversation with Big Brother and Big Brother had given her a go-ahead. I do not know. But I highly suspect that Abby is the one that packed all of those cutleries. And if she's the one, I am happy about it because I just want to see the whole house's reaction. That is it. I want to see their reaction. The likes of Chimsom, that one they vex where Chimsom can be very upset anyhow. How to see his reaction. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you enjoying this prank? What are your thoughts about it? Now, quickly moving on to the drama that OYIN caused this morning. I told you all that OYIN was causing a creative chaos in the house. And ladies and gentlemen, she succeeded in riling up the majority of the house. Yes. What exactly happened? So I told you that the house was kind of warm, like too warm for some of the housemates. So OYIN was lying in the bed in the garden and she refused to leave there. Now, remember, I mentioned on one of my videos that the house was divided into 2 teams for the new wage presentation for this week. Now, OYIN's team, they usually rehearse in the lounge inside the house, whilst the other team, what's his name now, Chimsom's team, they rehearse in the garden. So it was time for them to have their meeting, and it's that bed area that they usually gather at. Now OYIN was sleeping in that bed and she refused to leave that bed. She was sleeping there. She said she was tired. She did not want to move. So Chimsom and the rest of the team members, they were telling her, please go and sleep in the lounge where your team members are. We want to have our meeting. OYIN refused. Like, she refused to budge. They talked and tried to cajole her. Sultex, she refused. And then the next thing, Chimsom and Bells, they went to the lounge. They went to go and sleep like on the sofa there, where Sheba and OYIN's team members were gathered to have their meeting. And it was so funny how Chimsom just started going off. The guy was ranting and ranting and ranting about the nonsense, the pettiness, you know, that OYIN was displaying this morning. Like, why would she even do that? He was so upset. And then he was threatening fire and brimstone that, listen, if OYIN's team members, that Sheba and the rest, if they do not go and get OYIN from that their space where they want to have their meeting, that they will ensure that for the rest of the week, till the day of the wager. Even on the day of the wager, they're going to frustrate their efforts, they're going to frustrate their rehearsals, and they're going to frustrate the wager. That even on Thursday, when they are doing their wager presentation, they will climb on that stage and come and shake their bum bum during their performance. Because why are they allowing OYIN to sabotage their wager rehearsals? That it doesn't make sense at all. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Chimsom was going off so hard. The guy was so angry. And Shiba was just completely unbothered. She was laughing. What's his name? Keivo was laughing, Barry was laughing, and Shiba was like, well, that they don't really give a fuck about OYIN, to be honest. And you see, yeah, they have that attitude because they won immunity for the week. So in their mind, whatever happens, whether they win the wager, whether they lose the wager, they already have immunity, right? So they were just unbothered. They said they don't care. Now, Bells was already lying on the couch, and she said that since OYIN doesn't want to leave their meeting space, that she's going to sleep there. She's going to sabotage their wager. Now, it was so funny because the truth is, at the end of the day, they can't even copy each other's ideas. Yeah, they can't. So it was all futile effort. But Chimsom was still upset. Now, OYIN was still outside, lying in that bed. Sultex was trying to talk her out of it, you know, but she refused. Cassie was already angry. Bufopia was angry. Nomy was there. She was laughing. Nomy was laughing. But anyways, finally, Shiba and the rest of the team members, they went outside to go and meet OYIN. Shiba was speaking a lot of English. OYIN was not listening. In fact, Shiba was the last person OYIN wanted to listen to at that point in time. Who else? Somebody else was talking to her. I think it was Keivo. But then Aiku came. He came out of the house. He was running out of the house with munchies, with that tray of munchies. You know, something that OYIN actually likes. He was running to her like, okay, OYIN, to appease you, please have this and leave. OYIN refused. Shiba was so angry. And then Keivo drew Shiba, Aiku drew Shiba aside. I was telling her that, listen, the goal is to get her off that bed. And we cannot do it with anger. So don't worry, I've got this. And Shiba was like, you have the magic touch. Okay, go ahead and let's see what can happen. So Aiku went there. I said, OYIN, let's go. You know, in the softest manner ever. And OYIN looked at Aiku, she laughed, she agreed. All this while, she was laughing whilst everybody was going crazy. Aiku told her, please, let's go. And she agreed. She stood up and said, no, before they leave, they have to fold all the blankets and all the duvets that she brought outside. They have to fold everything properly before she leaves that spot. Whilst all of this was happening, Chimsom and Cassie, they were so angry. They were losing their mind. They were so angry. But he did not care. But Aiku, he did not complain. Helped her to fold the duvet, the blanket, everything. And then she was saying that, yes, that this is how it should be. She was yapping her mouth, laughing as well. And then they went inside. Ladies and gentlemen, Chimsom's team members, they were so upset. But Nomy was not bothered at all. That one, she was just laughing at the whole thing happening. But Cassie and Chimsom, they were angry. Bufopia was angry. And then they were saying that, that after their meeting, they will go and carry OYIN's favorite yellow blanket. Because she's always complaining of cold, Abi. Since she was inside the house, she didn't complain of cold. Now she's coming to come and disrupt their flow of work. And then they said, okay, after their meeting, they'll go and carry a blanket. And then they'll see what will happen. Because this nonsense she did, she cannot try it outside. She cannot try it because Chimsom was the one speaking now. He said if she tries to outside, he'll just carry her with one hand and fling her outside. Like, what nonsense? The guy was angry. But anyways, they went into the house. OYIN went upstairs. She came down, went to the kitchen, went to go and get food with Flora. Flora had actually come out before because they called Flora to come and please beg OYIN, her friend, to leave that bed. But when Flora went there, the only thing Flora said was, who is disturbing my friend here? Who is telling my friend to leave her place where she's sleeping? So OYIN and the rest, or rather Chimsom and Cassie and the rest, they were so angry that even the Flora that they went to go and call to come and mediate, she did not even help matters at all. So the whole thing was so funny, ladies and gentlemen. And then by the time OYIN had left that spot, Bells refused to leave the lounge. She said no, she's not going anywhere. That now that OYIN has finished her own, she wants to start her own. Shiba was just laughing at her, saying, you that you just want to sleep. Instead of it to just confess, admit that you want to sleep. You're talking about you want to do your own. It's a lie. So she was laughing. But still she refused. Sultex came to call her. She refused to leave. Goddessa too had come out, but then went back inside. Sultex called Goddessa. Goddessa said she's coming, that she was outside before, and they were not doing anything, But anyways, to cut the long story short, later on, Chimsom came, just tapped Bells, let's go. And Bells stood up and said, after the meeting, she's coming back to the lounge. She was just yapping her mouth. Now, ladies and gentlemen, OYIN was so satisfied with what she had done. And even though it was quite entertaining, all that drama and all of that madness, see, I just could not help but wonder that could it be that this is OYIN and Flora executing their plan of sabotaging this week's wager and frustrating the housemates the way they had also frustrated Neche last week. Because when Neche took a voluntary exit on Sunday, which by the way is real, ladies and gentlemen, the organizers of the show, they released a statement yesterday announcing that for personal reasons, Neche had decided to leave the show. So it's real, all right? But as I was saying, Flora and OYIN, they had declared war on the house that Sunday night. They had declared that whoever becomes head of house, that all that madness that the housemates meted out on Neche that caused her, that tampered with her sanity and her mental health, that this week they're going to do it in 100 folds. So when OYIN was doing what she was doing, I was laughing because I just felt like, yeah, this could possibly be her executing her plan to sabotage everything. And guys, I was happy. I was happy because the housemates were riled up. They were really upset. And I foresee a lot of drama happening today for the rest of the day. But anyways, let's just watch and see. Now, Bells was still not over that situation because later on, she and Temi had gone to report to Abi, the head of house. Now, mind you, Abi is in OYIN's team. Remember, it was by virtue of her winning the head of house title that she was able to not only earn immunity for herself, but also for the rest of her team members, right? So these people, that is Abi's team, they have immunity. And as I mentioned before, they've just been so lackadaisical about their rehearsals for the wager. I don't know what they are thinking. But anyways, Bells, as I said, was still quite upset. And so she had reported the whole situation to Abi. And she was more hurt by the fact that OYIN is her friend. And even though they have a friendship, she, as OYIN's friend, being on the other team, the losing team, had gone ahead to go and beg OYIN to leave the bed, but OYIN refused. Right? So she was just telling Abi that, listen, I'm telling you this because imagine if I decided to get my own part of flesh. Imagine if I decided to do mine. You people will now begin to say that, oh, Bells is just causing disruption unnecessarily. So she said she just wanted to report those situations. Now, whilst Bells was reporting, OYIN was upstairs with Flora. She was listening, and Abi had actually asked her why she had done what she did. And her explanation was that this morning she had gone for her medication and was advised that she needed at least 2 hours of rest for the medication to kick in. I'm not really sure if she's sick or something, yeah, but she had gone for medication for something, and they had told her she needed at least 2 hours, of rest. So for her, she needed to go and sleep, and that was what she was doing on that bed in the garden. So she was explaining that she would have left, but it was what Chimsom said that really triggered her. That Chimsom had said that there is no type of medication that you will take that will make you sleep like this, that they'll tell you to sleep for 2 hours. And ladies and gentlemen, I was baffled, I'm not going to lie. Because the moment OYIN said that, first thing that came to my mind was, is Chimsom really a pharmacist? Is Chimsom really a pharmacist? Because this is not the first time that Chimsom is saying something unbelievable. The first time he had said something quite shocking for a pharmacist to say was when Bells was complaining during that their welcome dinner, when she was complaining that her belly was aching her, she couldn't walk or stand, and she needed food. Chimsom did not think if the girl had ulcer. He had said that no, Belle's belly was not really aching her, that if her belly was really aching her, then it would mean that it would mean that how did he even put it? I think he even said that a belly aching that does not cause for emergency. That even at hospitals, people who have belly aches, they are not taken to the emergency ward. And I'm like, this guy, hey God. Me personally just had an experience just what was it, June, where I was actually taken to the emergency ward. But that story for another day. But anyways, as I said, Chimsom is just fond of making some very unfounded statements for a pharmacist, and it's just quite shocking. At this point, he needs to shut up his mouth when it comes to medical issues, because it doesn't have facts. Because at this point, I'm also doubting if the guy really is a pharmacist. But anyways, OYIN explained their own side, and Bells was still upset with OYIN. For Bells, but I am your friend. If I came to you to talk to you to not disrupt the meeting of my team, you should at least listen to me. And OYIN's voice was louder. She was going off that, hey, Bells, don't make this about you. Sultex is also my friend. You are also my friend. But are you closer to me than Sultex? Even though you are my friend, at least I was resting. You know, so she was just making a case for herself. And it was almost going to turn into an argument between both of them. So Abby had moved what's her name, Bells, away to the garden, where she had gone to go and apologize to that team, to Chimsom's team, apologized and promised that such a thing would never happen again. Because that team, they're already preparing fire for fire. They're already preparing a crazy retaliation. OYIN, on the other hand, was having a good laugh. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, it made me wonder, like, this girl, are you sure you did not do what you did as a form of homage to nature? Quickly, moving on to the conversation between Sheba and Araga. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation that happened yesterday morning, and Sheba was drawing Araga's attention to what Ebuka had actually said to him during the live eviction show Sunday night, when Ebuka had said that, oh, Araga, I see you, but I don't see you. So Sheba was asking him if he had actually thought about it. He said yes, that he understood what Ebuka was saying, that he felt like Ebuka was telling him that he wasn't doing a lot, he wasn't living up to his potential. And Sheba was advising him that, well, that is the truth. Because at the end of the day, you need to be visible. You need to show yourself. As it is, it doesn't seem like you're actually doing much. You need to be part of conversations, even if it's the fights, the drama, the chaos. You need to be part of everything. Because at the reunion, those are where the questions will come from. Nobody is going to check whether you are winning arena game, because Araga was actually thinking in his mind, he was interpreting that whole thing to be that he is not performing properly in the arena. So Sheba, thankfully for him, was telling him that at the reunion, nobody is going to ask you about arena games or how many times you won head of house. No. It's going to be about all the drama and all these side talks and all these conversations happening in the house. So you need to begin to pull your weight. So Sheba advised him, and he said, okay, he has heard. But ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, lo and behold, I was expecting this guy to, start engaging in numerous conversations. Guess what? This guy was stuck up with Goddessa upstairs all night. In fact, from after the live nominations till this morning. Like, see, when I tell you that Araga does not have sense, it's not an insult. It's just the very obvious. The guy don't get sense. But I want to wait it out and see if this week Araga is going to really show himself away from what we know him to be in the house, which is Goddessa's boy toy. So ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll see you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. Bye.